Okay, so let's talk about that one person who's on your mind, your specific person or SP. But before we dive in, I want you to try something with me. Instead of thinking of them as some goal you need to achieve, just for a second, I want you to feel what it's like to already have this easy, warm connection with them. Can you feel that? Good. Hold on to that feeling.
That feeling right there, that's everything. Because it brings us to the big question we're going to unpack today. Is this whole process about chasing someone, trying to say the right thing at the right time, or playing some kind of complicated game? Or is it actually about something way deeper? A total transformation that really starts and ends with you.
And this quote it nails it. It's not about manipulation. It's not about trying to control anyone. This is all about an ethical, internal journey. It's about becoming the version of you who already lives in that amazing relationship you want, and then just letting reality catch up to that inner state.
Which brings us right to our first major idea. The path to attracting your SP, it doesn't start out there, with them. Nope, it starts right here, with you. It all begins with this powerful idea of shifting your own internal world, your assumptions.
Now, the engine driving all of this is something called the law of assumption. And it's actually pretty simple, but it is profound. It basically says that your imagination, your feelings, your deepest beliefs, that's the creative power in your life. So if you want to change anything on the outside, you first have to become that change on the inside. Okay, so if our inner world really does create our outer world, where on earth do we start? Well, the absolute first step before you do any technique is to get crystal clear about your intention. And this isn't just about what you want, but why, and making sure it's coming from a place of genuine respect. And listen, this part requires some real honesty with yourself. Are you really looking for love, or are you just trying to patch up a feeling of loneliness? Are you after a partner, or just some validation? You gotta dig down to the core feeling. Do you want to feel cherished, seen, valued? Whatever it is, your intention has to be about a mutual, joyful connection that honors everyone's free will. So once you have that clear, kind intention, it's time to step into the inner workshop. This is where the real work happens. It's all about consciously assuming the feeling of your wish being fulfilled. And here's the key. You're not just thinking of the thing you want. You're thinking from the state of already having it. Big difference. So how do you do it? Well, you create a short, simple scene in your imagination. And I mean short, like under 90 seconds. The secret is to make it sensory. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Maybe it's the touch of their hand or that warm feeling in your chest. And it should feel, normal, like a sweet, ordinary moment, not some big Hollywood production. You're aiming to capture the feeling of being loved and safe. The best time to do this? Right before you fall asleep, in what's called the state akin to sleep, or SATS. In that drowsy state, your logical mind is quiet and your subconscious is wide open to new feelings and ideas. Just look at this example. It's so simple, but so powerful. Hearing them say, "I feel so happy with you," that's not a huge, dramatic moment. It's quiet, it's intimate, and it implies that the whole relationship is already a done deal. See, your subconscious doesn't care about grand fantasies. It responds to feelings that seem real and natural. This is the kind of scene that slips right past all your doubts. And this, right here, shows the mental shift you have to make during the day. On the left, you've got that scarcity loop, all the anxiety, the constant checking, the doubt. And on the right, you have the new assumed reality. You're consciously swapping those anxious thoughts for calm, confident ones. Instead of "why haven't they texted?" you tell yourself, "it's all in motion. I'm choosing peace." It's a deliberate pivot from a feeling of lack to a feeling of fulfillment. But look, this inner work can't just stay in your head at night. That brings us to a super critical step. How do you bring that feeling into your day-to-day life? How do you actually start walking around like the version of you who is already deeply loved and secure? The answer is through what we call aligned actions. And I want you to notice, none of these things are about chasing or trying to force anything. It's all about self-possession. It's carrying yourself with a quiet confidence. It's pouring energy back into your own life, your own hobbies. It's just being present. You're basically acting like the you who already has everything you want. And this all leads to a huge mindset shift, detachment. Now, let's be super clear.
Detachment is not being cold or pretending you don't care. It's actually the opposite of anxiety. It's that deep inner knowing that frees you from constantly checking your phone or their social media for proof. Because every time you go looking for proof, you're just screaming to the universe that you don't have it yet. True self-possession is trusting your inner work and finding peace in the now. Of course, this is not always a perfectly smooth ride. Doubts are going to pop up. The world outside might show you the exact opposite of what you're assuming. So how do you stay the course? How do you keep going when all that noise gets loud? So what do you do when that happens? It's a simple 3-step process. First, just breathe. Don't fight the feeling, just acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling really doubtful right now. Second, gently, kindly reaffirm your truth. This is just temporary. My assumption is what's real. And finally, you deliberately bring your focus back to that beautiful imaginal scene of yours, or go do something that makes you feel grounded. You're not denying what's happening. You're just refusing to let it knock you off your path. And you know, the beauty of this whole practice is how simple it is to weave into your life. We're not talking about hours of meditation here. It's about small, consistent actions. A couple of minutes in the morning for gratitude, one tiny aligned action during the day, and then just 5 or 10 minutes at night for your scene. Seriously, consistency will always, always be perfection. Now, as we start to pull all these pieces together, we get to the true reward of this whole process. Because while it might seem like the goal is to attract a specific person, the journey itself actually leads to something so much bigger. And this is the ultimate game changer. This entire process becomes so much more powerful when you stop using it to try and fill an empty space inside of you. The real magic kicks in when you start using it to express the confident, secure, and whole person you're already becoming. You stop trying to get love from the outside because you're learning how to be love from the inside. And that's really the promise of this whole journey, isn't it? It's not about forcing an outcome or racing a clock. It's about patiently and persistently stabilizing that inner belief that you are loved, you are valued, you are chosen. And as that feeling becomes your new normal, your outer world really has no choice but to start reorganizing itself to reflect that truth right back at you. So we end up right back where we started, but with a totally new perspective. The journey was never really about figuring out how to get someone. It was always about asking yourself a much deeper, much more powerful question. Who are you ready to become in this process? Because that person, that's the real prize.